There's power in a drumbeat on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're not OIC. Any day, go forever. Old town, scenery. Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're not OIC. SC loyal forever. Someday in North County. Desert to islands, get loud now, you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Locals podcast. I am John Cross. I am filling in at least as lead host tonight for Andrew, who can't make it. And with me to help me out tonight is our Director of Communications, Jason Radcliff. Jason, welcome.
How's it going, John?
Doing very well. I think we'll start out tonight with a little bit of a recap of the last week. And the thing I'd like to hit on first is the Glory Magazine edition. Did you pick up a copy? Do you have that? Have you had a chance to look through it? Two copies.
Yeah, 2 copies. I got, a few years ago, my football team won the Super Bowl, and I said to myself, I know I'm going to wear out this hat, and I want to have a second one to have around. And I feel like I'm using that in this scenario of I'm probably going to have one out and show people or one around, and then I'll have one sealed up and something I'll show my grandkids in 50 years to talk about, the greatest 4 years of my life. Like my grandfather talking about the Navy. And so I got 2 of them. And, maybe one for signatures, one for I saw Naku suggesting it be like a yearbook, right? Get everybody's signatures and tell them we'll talk and we'll write and all that. And then one to keep clean, but gorgeous. What do you think?
I have not had a chance to actually see it yet. I did order one. My copy has not arrived. I'm expecting it to arrive tomorrow, so hopefully I'll get a chance. But I've seen a lot of the pictures online. I've seen people and heard people talk about it, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I did only do 1 copy. I know of one person who said that they got 3 to kind of do the same thing. 1 to save in pristine condition, 1 to get signed, and 1 for like the coffee table that everybody can read through. You're not worried about that one getting messed up.
Yeah, well, it's gorgeous. And I'll tell you, I'm not surprised that you're still waiting, because the mountain, when I went in, the mountain of mail, outgoing mail that they had, and I forget who was working there, but she said that it was the same size the day before, and the mailman had taken it all. And she's like, I hope he's got the same room as yesterday, because it's the same. Like, it was literally over my head, kind of stuffed in the corner. So yeah, they're. I don't know if there's going to be much left in the shop for very long, if there's anything left. But I was there with, like I said, Naku, and then Jerry, original Jerry, the OG Jerry, not Otro Jerry. Yeah, he came by for a copy. Naku was there. AV was there. Ricardo was there. Everybody had kind of come in to see. It was almost like a release that, like, it was 12 o'clock on like the first day that they had said they had them. I think it was that Monday
for lunch.
Yeah, and everybody was there. Espen was there. So, but the story being, Espen bought 20. Wow. So he said he was buying them for people, and I know that he sends a lot of stuff out to extra locals and takes care of the Rainbow Loyals and stuff. But yes, he had a like, they just handed him a box of 15, opened it, and said, yeah, yep, that's it. Handed him a box right from the manufacturer, and then gave him 5 more. So, yeah, I mean, these are so special. It's, I posted in Discord. It's a little sad to see that when you open it up and it says 2019 to 2023 on it. That hurts a little to see in print. But I mean, I'm just turning the pages, and every page I'm just like, wow. I gave it to my graphic design and photography teacher at my school, and she was blown away. It's just another thing that they did so well. We talk about it all the time, and you don't want to focus on the end here, but man, they did so many things so well. If you off topic, but Travis L just just posted a thread today of just the stuff that they did this year. I think he just said like it's been quite 120 days or something. And just to see what they pulled off, knowing that this is just a small USL team that could do nothing. Look at what Lights does. Look at what other teams around do. And that they knew it was ending, that they didn't give up, they didn't stop, they didn't cut any corners, that they're still I had heard that there are some of their creative people technically don't work there anymore, but we're still at the game on Saturday. Like, people are still around, people are still again, Ricardo being there Saturday, people are still contributing, and they're just to the very end with this Glory magazine coming out, just so proud.
Right, and that's I think it really helps capture a lot of the magic that has been this experience. Not just the locals, but the loyal, Chavos, all of us, combined to make this experience, and not just us, the fans, the rest of the, all the fans that show up and support the team. But I wanted to ask you, just kind of shifting gears very slightly, that you were at the shop. What's the shop looking like? Because I know they're kind of doing a fire sale with with jerseys and everything else, whatever's left. Have you picked up anything new in the last couple of weeks?
I have. And it was not the time that I was there for the book. I had gone before that, the day that the fire sale started, which I think was the week before. So I think I've been there 2 Mondays in a row. Maybe, I wasn't there yesterday. But it was getting thin. I took the last extra large home jersey off of the mannequin. I was told there weren't any left, and then I was just hanging around for a while and looked at the mannequin and looked at the tag, and it said extra large, and I said, "Hey, mind if I take this one?" He said, "Yeah, if you want to, go ahead." So ripped the mannequin's arms off and got my extra large. Now I just have to get on a workout plan to get back down into size extra large, because that 2X that I bought fits me a lot better. But yeah, I got 3 jerseys and some other stuff and some stuff for family. I had a friend who works at Rady's Children, so I just picked up one of those. They had those like maroon, blue, green, and gray Rady's ones that were, I don't know if they were select like workout tops or like what they were, but they had the Select crest on them and the Rady's Children on the front, and so I got that for her, and she was very excited. I'll give that to her on Saturday. And then the Waldos I actually found, or the Landos. The Landos were back in stock, and I took the last 2 of those. So I've been looking for those for like 3 years. I don't know who kicked over that box, but I'm so glad that they did. So yeah, I've gotten quite a bit. But it was much thinner when I went back for the book a week later. And again, that mountain of stuff was just basically all the hats were gone. I didn't see a single hat. But I had gone in. I did go in like right after that Monday, that when there had been a game. So I don't know that they had unpacked everything from the game that they had in the game bins. So there might still be some hats, but there was like not a hat left on the shelf at that point. So getting thin, thin. Don't wait.
Doesn't surprise me. Yes, and especially, and I'm sure we had a few people wearing their new stuff at the game last weekend. So we had a return of the parking lot. I know you were there. And AV was speaking. So how did that go? Because that was a little different for us at a parking lot. Wasn't able to make it out. So what was the parking lot like this time?
Yeah, so it was a little bit different. I heard there was K-pop going on. Unfortunately, I was not able to get there until maybe 5 or 10 minutes before AV started, so I kind of missed the fun part. But typical parking lot, and then it really filled in around that 5 o'clock, 5:30. And it's things that I had heard before. So, I was journalizing, So I was just taking pictures, and stuff. Again, I've heard, I think every question asked and answered, and knew where everything was going. Didn't stop me from tearing up at certain times. But kind of getting to see everybody else ask their questions and get their time, or just kind of, I don't think everything was 100% positive towards him. I think, it was a little hard to hear with the mic sometimes. Remember, people with the round mic with the silver ball on it, you got to get right in there. You really got to get it. It's not a directional mic. It's not going to pick you up. You really got to get in on it. If you've seen stand-up comedians that like put it right on their chin, like, you need to get in there. It's not a good mic. But people were kind of standing 3 feet away and hoping that the mic was going to catch up. So I didn't catch all the questions. The answers were things that I kind of heard. But I hope that people got the closure that they needed, said what they needed to do, whatever that was. But so it was a little bit different. But then, at the end, there's that classic Locals, Chavos, Loyal, Hope. And everybody, got, or Nick and Adrian kind of got everybody hyped up and ready to go. So it was cool to hear from Nate Miller too. So that was different. We almost never hear from Nate. So that was a nice little thing for us to have. It's just one more thing where it feels a reminder that the end is there, but then right into what's great about this and why this mattered, and why this is awesome. And us, more than probably all season, certainly at the barking lots, that we haven't been able to have as many just based on schedule, with USD and whatnot. Thanks, Grandma's house and the USL. So definitely the biggest one this year, and that march in was big and loud. And it was cool, walking in, seeing the security guard kind of bopping along, thinking about the people that have kind of become ancillary parts of this. Those guys have been to every game, right? And it's just a job for them maybe, but they know when we come through and they think it's cool and they bop along and like, oh yeah. Like, there's a difference between when we're there and when they're working somewhere else, or maybe if they're working Snapdragon, or we see them there sometimes. So yeah, it's just good to see everybody again at the parking lot. Good to hang out. It's always, I'm a fist bump guy. I see a lot of people and try and say hi to everybody at least. Girls were there. I had my girls there, and we don't get many more of these. So that was cool.
That's right. Yeah. And then for this game, finally, we had a bit of a dominating performance. Although I have to admit, from home, when I was watching the first 20 minutes, I was really not feeling good. I think our first goal came quite a bit against the run of play, but as soon as that first goal happened, the game completely changed. And we had Ronaldo, second person ever to get a hat trick, got player of the week, I saw, for USL, and Corona made it on the team of the week. So I know you were there for part of the game at least, right?
Yeah.
So you only made it for the first half, but any thoughts about the game? Because it was finally one of those, I think, at the end where everybody felt satisfied.
Yes,
I
I
had a
think
player
so.
have a breakout performance. It felt good. It felt good moving into these last 3 games here.
Yeah, I would say, it didn't start out that way, right? We did not score first. We scored 4 unanswered, which is the way to do it. But again, against the run of play, somebody finds some space and the ball's in the back of the net before you know it. They probably had 2 minutes of possession and we had 13 at that point. And it just felt like, here we go again. But it was different this time. Ball went in the net. And sometimes that's really what this frustrating game comes down to. And, we got it back. We went up. And then I didn't feel like we were pressured at all. I thought we might push for a third before halftime.
Right.
It felt like we were on the front foot, and we were, after we scored the first and the second, it always felt like we were going to win that game. And that's good to feel. And then you see the pile on, and then you see selfish Domus make sure he got his hat trick with Guzman there. So like I am all alone. I have acres of space. I am behind everyone. I can tap this in. But Damas, that's what you want to see, really. He has that ability, and we've wanted to see it, and we saw it. And
is this the start of Ronaldo getting hot for
is it?
playoffs?
Is it the start of us getting hot, staying hot? That 1-1 Lights game didn't feel very hot, but this game definitely felt different after we scored to tie it. That answer came pretty much right away. About 3 minutes later. So, big ones here, big ones coming up.
Yeah.
But that game was great, and then sadly, for family reasons, I wasn't able to stay until for the whole end of it, which is again, what more can you say than AV in there and the fans? Steph crying right next to him.
Yeah.
This like we've talked about before about blurring lines between SG and independence and the team and how we need to whatever. Right now, man, we're kind of the dance band on the Titanic and we're all in it together.
Right.
And like these silly I get told things by the team that I immediately tell the whole SG because who cares? What are they, the pyro in the stands? What are they going to do? Like, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure they're not going to make us have like a empty home playoff match or something. So pay the fine or whatever. Like, so to see AV in there, to see everybody in there, Tony and Chiba, everybody. It was great.
Yeah, it was great to see some of those pictures. I hope to see AV in there a little more. Do you have any idea if he's going on the Vegas trip?
Yes.
Because we got a lot of people going on the Vegas trip.
He does have, I guess there's some sort of suite/box situation there that he was telling me he'll be in, but was saying that maybe he'll be able to walk down and greet us and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, he needs to be in the section. All the remaining games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why not. Like, I think there's in a different world, if there was a different owner had stepped up, I think he would have been in there with us. If he wasn't the chairman and the owner had all the responsibilities, if it was some other multimillionaire / billionaire that owned the team, he is one of us. He wants men's professional soccer. It's beautiful. And again, to see, Stephanie in there too, like they've tried to keep their distance. We work for the team. 109 is the supporter, blah, blah, blah. But to see them get to finally kind of let loose, we hope we see the rest of them maybe on Saturday. We say everybody, Weston kind of hangs out a little bit with us generally. Last year we've been down on the field. We'll go down on the field this year. So yeah, hopefully see Salzizo out, and if there's any players that are not playing, we'd love to see them out. Obviously, like we are a big family right now, and we'd love to all be together for this.
So to stay on the Las Vegas trip for a second, since you helped plan a lot of these events, is there any last minute information you want to get out on? I know it's not last minute because it's a week from Saturday before
it's close
the game, but any
things to plan,
recent things that people need to know about who are planning on going on the trip, or if anybody is still considering going and they haven't pulled the trigger yet, is there anything people need to know?
Absolutely. Let me pull up. This is again being the sharing things that I immediately get from people. So we put out that survey or kind of RSVP thing, the Eventbrite, and that is and that was kind of used as an interest form kind of thing. Um, but for Vegas, we do have the ticket link up. So that has not really been sold out yet. So we want to make sure that you're using the ticket link because I think, I guess maybe he sent that in a different spot. But I think he said there was only like 50 tickets sold so far, or something like that, through the link. And people might be going through the club using their free ticket, so that could be part of it. I know a few people are, but that link is going to be there for a while. But let us know, and then that doesn't matter as much to me and to us as much as the bus does. So we have confirmed today the buses have been bought. There will be 2 buses leaving at 6 p.m. from where we're staying, the Downtown Grand Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas, off of Fremont Street there. If you haven't heard this information yet, this is new information to you. It's all in the Discord, and we do have a Vegas planning channel specific to it. So someone who may or may not be related to one of the players on our team just texted through Discord to let us know he's going. So he's added to the list now, and we're going to be planning hopefully a pre and post game, but all those reminders and everything will be in. It is kind of happening in there. So we got 2 buses. We got about 80 people interested in that shuttle bus service. So please fill out our Eventbrite if you have not yet. Some people have been like, hey, can you include me? I'm like, dude, please, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not keeping a list of like people that I also have to remember are going to be on the bus. Like, get the link. I can give you the link. Everyone can give you the link. It's in Discord. It's been put onto Twitter/X, I believe. If not, we can do it for you. But let us know. So yeah, the bus will run at 6 o'clock. It's a 7:30 start. So the bus is going to leave from downtown Grand at 6. Should be about a 25-30 minute drive. Give us about an hour there, to get settled in and whatnot. Should be plenty of time. We have not really done we have planning to do. So get in there. I'm just thinking now we should do a march to the match, a march in the match, march at the match. I'm sure the concourse is open. It's a small little baseball stadium, so just march around the concourse, make a whole bunch of noise, and come sit with us. And if you are a loyal fan who's hearing of this for the first time, come sit with us. This is a loyal fan thing. We just happen to be kind of one of the bigger elephants in that room. But everyone is welcome to come sit with us. And if you don't like the drums, I think there's going to be plenty of open seating. You can go, hang out if you don't want to sing and stand with us, or stand and sing with us. But if you do, we've only got so many of these left. So you don't have to be a member of the Locals. All other SGs know that they're welcome. We're in conversation with them, and they'll be on the bus as well. 6 o'clock it leaves, and then we'll get back around 11 or 11:30, whatever that is. So,
and then sorry,
yeah,
a quick question from the chat. Do you know if there's going to be any tailgating at the stadium?
I do not, but I would say that the bus is BYOB. Usually we provide it, but I'm not going through all that in Vegas. So BYOB, and we'll drink on the bus, and then we'll hang out just outside the bus and drink, and then maybe march in. All stuff that can be decided in the Discord, because maybe we'll march in together, and we'll have that conversation. Conversation hasn't happened yet. We're slowly getting those pieces together now. The bus is finalized, so now those little things can be figured out.
Yeah, and with all of this going on, just as a reminder, everyone, please check Discord. If you're not in Discord, you may want to just get in there even for the last couple of weeks or however long we go through the postseason. But information's going to be coming, I imagine, fast and furious and may change over time because it's not a normal end of the season for us this time. And we, I think, are trying to squeeze everything we can out of these last few games, kind of the go big or go home. So we don't want to leave anybody out who'd like to participate. So please check. And one of the ones I want to remind you about, there was an email that did go out this week, I believe yesterday or the day before. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, Jason.
Yeah, it was
but
yesterday.
For
Yep.
Player of the Year voting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have not gone into your email or seen it, please check your email. And if you haven't voted yet, please vote, because we need to give that award at the match this Saturday. But we need to figure out who the winner is and get the award ready. So we can't we can't do like man of the match where it's just, oh, okay, and then we're going to pull someone in. We like to personalize the gift that we're going to give Player of the Year. So Jason, do you know when it's officially closing? I haven't seen anything.
I don't
when it's
have that.
officially
I'm going
closing.
to text Steve right now because I actually don't really know.
Okay.
But please, as I know there's a lot going on. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot going on. Okay? You do not, no one has to tell me. It's a lot. And I'm sorry, I apologize. One of the all calls that I sent on Discord, sorry, this is the third time today that I'm, sending an all call, but there's a lot of shit happening right now. So I'm sorry. It's the way it is. It's a lot, but is there a...
So here's a quick friendly reminder again for everyone. If you want your vote counted for Player of the Year for this year, please check your email. Click on the link, get your vote in. It is ranked choice voting, so there's up to 5 people you can vote for. So go ahead and make your choices, and we will need to tally those up pretty soon here so we know and can personalize the award, and we will present that at the end of the match on Saturday.
All right, Steve says Thursday night. It's in the email. So okay. I thought I just read the email for how I just proofread it to make sure it looked good and didn't actually retain any of the information. So I apologize.
All right, and Dylan has offered up in the chat he can't decide who he wants to put as first choice. I won't. I've already voted. I won't give away my choices, but it was tough for me. I think I picked a choice that I don't think will win, but I think for me, the person was the most valuable player because I think it helped us out in so many areas of the field once that position was kind of solidified. But anyway, Player of the Year voting. Make sure you do that. And I'm just double checking my notes. I guess it's time for us to do our matches for this week, unless you have anything else. You ready to talk about our watch party stuff for Wednesday?
Sure. You want me to just do that? No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have you fill in a couple of things. So we're coming up to match day 32. These are our last 3 matches. So we still have a game in hand on a couple of the teams. So a victory here would be really helpful. There's still an outside chance, depending how we need some help, but we could potentially finish second still. But we really want to make sure, at worst, we solidify third place. So this is a huge match for us tomorrow on Wednesday against El Paso. It is a 6 o'clock kickoff for us here in the Pacific time zone. And our watch party our official one's going to be at Fair Play. So Jason, do you have anything to add to that?
No, not really. I'll see you at Fair Play, everybody.
Right, yeah,
I don't, it's, I think there had been something else that kind of fallen apart, and Fair Play is our good friends over there. And of course they say, come on by. So I will be running back and forth between hopefully the Phillies clinching the wild card playoff series that's happening at literally the exact same time. Hopefully it'll be, I don't know, over a little bit earlier, since baseball now only takes 2 hours and 10 minutes sometimes. But yeah, that starts at 5 and this starts at 6, and it's going to be an interesting a very emotional 15 minutes for me come about 8 o'clock tomorrow. So, but yeah, we'll be there. Fair play. That's where the Kyle Adams banger happened at the watch party for the
Right.
Open Cup game. Unfortunately, that didn't go our way at the end, but all we have left are the moments, and hopefully we get some tomorrow night. And the only way to really be part of them is to be there. I didn't make it to Elspeth where we had Xavi's moment, and I'm still kicking myself about that. So for those of us who can make it, let's try to make it. And if you are in North County, obviously Northern Pine, our friends up there, give them a call and hang out with them if you can't make it down. Double check, make sure there's no trivia or anything up there, but they've been awesome about having us on the big screen when they can, which has been like 98% of the time. So Wednesdays can be tricky at breweries because you never know what else they've got going on. But if you don't want to make the drive all the way down, but want to still meet up with a pocket of people, Northern Pine is your spot up there.
And probably, really, at least for the regular season, our last big watch party, because we have so many people going to Vegas for the last game of the season. So I know it's a weekday, but this is the last, and we don't know what's going to happen with playoffs, but for the regular season, this is it, like our last big watch party. So if you get a chance to make it out there to Fairplay or Northern Pine, go ahead and make it out there. And then, speaking of our final things, coming up Saturday is our final regular season match at Grandma's house. Possibly our last match there ever, since we don't know how the rest of the season's going to play out.
We don't know. So we'll have a better idea. Actually, I don't have the standings. After tomorrow. I was going to look, but I don't think USL standings. I don't think we can clinch anything tomorrow. The stupid West is so wide open.
It's so wide open. Let's see. Thank you to Phoenix and Orange County for tying last match.
Yes,
that helped us out a little bit. And with
San Antonio loses, so that keeps things in. We win tomorrow brings us within 2 of San Antonio for second place, right? And certainly we could get 6 and they could get 4. I don't know what the tiebreaker after that gets weird because we tied both of our games head to head. So then it goes to goal differential within Western Conference opponents, I believe. That has been posted in Discord. You could find that if you wanted to. It's been posted in pins, so it's easy to find tiebreakers. But if we win tomorrow, if we win out and they tie and win, we've got a chance at second place there. So
yes,
that's great. Yeah, so I don't think anything can be clinched tomorrow. The way I'm looking at this, but certainly things could go very well for us. Being 5, if we win tomorrow, we'd be 5 points clear of 4th place with 2 left. Yeah. So that would be very good. And if we don't win tomorrow, then we might be in 4th place and 1 point shy of 3rd place. So, yep, that's the way this goes.
Regardless, as Dylan, good to see you back from your big trip, but we need the 3 points regardless.
Yep.
So, speaking of last things, as I started to say before, we have potentially our last home match coming up at Grandma's house this Saturday. So it is potentially the last everything, the last barking lot, right? We hope we get the home field playoff matches. We hope we can do some barking lots. We hope we have a good run and the results end in our favor and we can get several more home matches during the postseason. But none of those are guaranteed. This is our last guaranteed match at home. So big barking lot. I don't know that there are planned to be any speeches, but this should be a big, proper barking lot for the last match. And hopefully we can get as many, if not more, people to show up, do a fantastic march into the stadium, really support the boys as they come in, be loud in the stadium throughout the game. but also being the last game, we have some special things that are happening. We'll do our man of the match, but we'll also do player of the match at the
Player of
end
the
of the
year.
game. Player of the year, sorry, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game as well. And then for those who normally are in 109, I'm sure the procedure will be the same like we did last year. If you're in 109, you have tickets in 109, you'll get a wristband. And second half of the match, we'll be down on the field right behind the signage boards. So we'll be there cheering the team on from the field. And I don't know, Jason, do you have any other thing? I have a couple of things I want to add, but I want to give you a chance to jump in first, and then we'll talk about like the end portion of Saturday.
Yeah. We have the TIFO. I don't know if that's supposed to be a surprise, but for those of you who know, we'll have that up. We'll have, get your team. Again, no, I did it. Player of the year ready for us, and get that in so that we can have our cool thing down there. Make sure you're in 109. I don't know, man. It's just, but it was like all happening in October, and now it's October, and it kind of snuck up. So.
All right, and I'm sorry, I see I'm going to put it on the screen here, but I'm going to have to tell Nick no, and I'm trying to look for it. There was something about...
Yeah, I don't know that... Nick, did you read the whole response to it? Because I think it got figured out.
Yeah, I don't... So... Nick, help us out if we're missing something here, but I know there was a concern that the parking lot might be not held or changed, but that seemed to have been all cleared up. So we are good to go for the parking lot.
Good to go for the parking lot. Grandma almost screwed us one last time.
Thank you anyway for calling us out just in case we had the wrong information. We do want to make sure we get the correct information. Yeah. Okay, so we are good for the parking lot. We'll have the match,
but it may be the last one, and you never know, because again, they told us we could have this one, and then on Thursday told us maybe not because something was going on, and then we went back and forth, and now it is back on. But it might be the last one, because if playoffs are on a Sunday and they decide they don't want to do it on a Sunday, then we're just SOL. So this might be the last parking lot, even if we have 6 more home games.
Right, and I think everybody needs to understand that it's not just whether we want to do one or not. We have to coordinate both with the team and USD to make sure it happens. So there is no guarantee. This is the big one that we need to make sure you show up for, and be there to support the boys all game. We'll be down there at the other half of the field, and Jason, as he said, we're going to have a TIFO, but at the very end, the plan, if I was going to say if we can pull it off, but I guess it's in my hands right now if I can pull it off.
Yeah.
So there will be a short little, I don't know how short, we're going for 3-ish minutes, but a little video. I would like to personally send out thanks again to everyone who submitted a video for this portion that we're putting together. I'm working on editing everything. There were some, I've watched all the videos at least once through, and now I'm trying to arrange them and stitch things together. Some fantastic moments in there that people have. So I'm really hopeful that it'll be an impactful video when we get it together. Told through our member voices. But we'll do that at the end of the match. The plan is right now after the San Diego we are. And then if you haven't seen, and I forget, so Jason, correct me or help me out. I can't remember if it was in email or just in Discord or maybe both. But we are strongly encouraging people. So part of the video is a thank you message. But we also are strongly encouraging people to personally write letters to anyone and everyone you would like. You can do it. Your kids can do it. Siblings, cousins, grandparents. Have everybody sign it, do a card. But if there were players or front office members or anyone who really stood out to you that you would want to give some personal thanks to, we'd like to be able to hand deliver those to those people at the end of the match. So if you would like to do that, it's not a requirement, but please think about that over the next few days, and we're going to try to coordinate it so we can hopefully give lots of people stacks of thank yous from all of us. So in addition to the video we're putting together, in addition to Player of the Year, so we have a lot of things we're trying to pull together for this last match. So Jason, anything to add to that?
No, just that's on you. I believe
Thanks.
all of the. I didn't mean you. I meant sorry. The letters part is on members. You, the listener. You, the listener. If you want to, do whatever. This again may be the last time that wherever you see the guys on the way out, that might be the last time you see them, and that's sad, but the truth. So. If you want to hand deliver a letter, I think I am personally going to print out some of the pictures of my girls and their favorite players. Have them either write, just write a little note on the back, just a 39-cent CVS picture printout, but have them say a little something to me on the back, and spoiler for my daughter's favorite players, and. That she's 8 and she got emotional when I told her it was all over. And the first thing she said was, where's Toomey going? And I said, oh, they'll find a new job. But like, that was her response. What about Toomey? So, I want him to know that. And I want him to have that, like, let these guys know it wasn't just fandom for us. It wasn't just a job. They weren't just some faceless, or not faceless, but some soulless commodity to us. That it was much more than that. So this is your chance for that. Maybe hopefully we'll get another chance at Vegas for those of us going there. Hopefully we'll get to cross paths with some of the players in some way, but you never know, and could end at any time. So yeah.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps up our normal episode. If you've seen any of the postings, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, we're going to do like a little bit of a mini lounge here at the end to talk briefly-ish about our kind of updates where we are with the transition plan, and just talk a little bit about the survey from last week, or the one that we wrapped up last week. So we're going to do that here in just a second. But Jason, any last supporter group news before we transition to talking about the transition plan?
Before we talk about supporter group news? Nothing comes to mind. Get into Discord. You can turn off the channels you don't want to hear. You can, you can turn on just announcements, just notifications. Like it's. Well, I try to get it to all socials, and we try to, have a certain number of emails that we can send out every month. So, get in there, because that's where all of it happens. If you are in Discord, again, let me know if you're going to Vegas, so I can get you into that planning, because we've got not a lot of time left to do that, and we want people's opinions and people to know where to go, where to meet us and stuff. But, mostly this weekend, treat everyone like the last. We've only got so many. So, or not even that, tomorrow, tomorrow,
Right.
We'll see a Fair Play Northern Pine, or if you want to get a group together and, go somewhere close, you have, 15 hours or so to plan that, and see where we can all get together.
All right, well said. So with that, let's transition to talking about our transition plan. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is, for the people who are with us live in the chat, we'd like this to be a little participatory. So if you have questions as we go, please ask. in there so we can bring them up. So this is a little, well, less structured, right? And we want to have it be a little more free flowing. But we do want to kind of give some updates because, as excited as we are towards the end of the season, we do need to keep one eye on, once all this is over, we do need to make some final decisions on where the locals might pivot to after that. And the survey that we closed last week was the first step in that process. And this is going to be an ongoing process that really won't come to a resolution probably till mid-December or possibly mid-January because we got the holidays in there. So it depends how long we're in the playoffs when we really start digging deep into some of these questions. And we don't want to have the big conversations till later, but we do want to kind of let people know a little bit where we are with the plan and what we're looking at. And we're also having a Congress meeting next week, so we will be talking about that a little more. But that first survey was our first step to start getting people's thoughts. And we'd like to try to go next survey is dig a little deeper into some of those thoughts. So I do want to thank everyone who filled it out. I think we had more than 75 people fill out the survey.
Yeah, I
Which
know,
is
almost 90.
always hard to
if you
get people.
yeah.
And it was, people had to give all free response answers for this one. And that, again, for those who maybe missed some of the conversations on the other podcasts, that was intentional because then we wanted to use those to help formulate some better questions to ask in future surveys. But I really appreciated the time and thought that so many of you who filled out the surveys put into those questions. It was fantastic feedback to go and read through and help us help the group figure out how we move forward from this, because right now there's lots of ideas on the table and we're not close to trying to decide which of those ideas we might want to do, but we need to have some more steps in the process to, I think, clarify everybody's thinking to kind of see where we are. So Jason, do you have anything you want to add before we maybe talk about a little bit some of the things in the
Yeah, this first one
survey, just general things?
Was a big net, and we again thank everybody who took the time to fill it out. I think we were closer to 90 responses. Obviously, leadership had our takes in there as well. So there were, I don't know if you want to subtract those, however many of those there were. But member participation and trying to find out who's passionate about what, and thank you. And leadership. So we'll tell people that we talked about how we would go about it and kind of releasing, or what we do with the results there, with the replies. And I think that it may have been kind of on my part. I kind of thought that this would just be informing leadership. So leadership, just so you know, if you filled it out, leadership did see it, had access to it, all of leadership. There are 18 of us, if I'm not mistaken, John. Is
Something
that
like
right?
that, 18
That's
or
our
19.
18 or 19. So that's a bunch of directors and Congress people who are maybe former directors who are still there as kind of emeritus Congress people, and then people who are kind of on the way up and in and might become directors, and then there's the director. So there's kind of a lot of people there, and people who just want to be there to have their voice heard and don't want to become directors as well. So it's kind of a group of that's what our group looks like, of the 18 of us. So a lot of people saw that. Don't you think it was just directors, or it was just, it's not just Steve sitting there reading them and telling us what he found and what he thought when everyone said. So for auditing purposes, there's a bunch of us. But we didn't. We need to figure out where we go next, and that'll be a big topic of discussion. in October, and I think I would feel confident letting people know that we, I don't know where to start with that. That early on in the process of finding out that MLS was coming to town, there were a lot of differing opinions, and then finding out that Loyal was ending, those opinions with people changed. I will tell you my opinion is that I said in no way should we support both teams, and now things are different. And I didn't think we could do the two things, one being Loyal and one being the MLS team. But that changes, and things change, and feelings change, opinions change. I have been quoted many times in our Slack as being the person who said, if anyone wants to talk about the future while Loyal is still playing, they can shove it up their ass. Unfortunately, reality sucks. And I think we said in our statement, we kind of have a fiduciary responsibility to you guys and to the locals to deal with reality. And the reality is our October 11th meeting isn't just going to be about Loyal playoffs. There's other things that we have to talk about, and I have to give my time to, which I don't enjoy necessarily, but I do think it's a responsibility there. So, it's hard, and we say in everything, we got to keep an eye there, and we want to put all of our passion into Loyal. And I know that there were a bunch of people out painting tifos and breaking their backs tonight and spending their time doing that. That is not lost on us. Thank you to that group, to people who are putting in time. Since we're deep enough into the lounge now, I'll tease that there is artwork for Vegas that Travis Peterson has put together at essentially some of my requests, some of him just doing it on his own, some of he did some, and I said, ooh, what if we also did this? And we're still very focused on making these last few weeks the very best that they can be, and that we can be the best we can be. And then also turning our eyes to the future. So we're going to talk about what that looks like, what and who votes on what and when is going to be a big topic coming up here. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more clarity for those of you who also may be looking ahead a little bit and or wondering. We've got a meeting next week. You probably won't hear anything until then. We've got a big game tomorrow, big game Saturday with the TIFO and the player of the match and everything. So we really are focused this week on Loyal. And then October 1, we kind of have a few strings there that are cut, and we can really focus on two things if someone's able to do that. And just kind of open the aperture and try and focus on the whole world. And then we're all personally trying to figure it out too, because I still don't know what I think. If I were to vote tomorrow, or if I were to vote in November, or if I were to vote in January, I don't know.
Yeah, just as a reminder for anybody who might have missed it on a previous lounge episode that we had, it's, as much as possible, we want to push this to the off season. And most likely the second survey will not come out until the Loyal have finished playing. So this is part of this. We want to make sure this is where we are in the process. But looking at the timeline, if we have the magical run that we all would love to have and we make it to the championship match, it really compresses our time, because now we're pushed right up on Thanksgiving break. Then we've got a couple weeks, and then it's winter break. And we're in the unusual situation of one, figuring out where we need to go, and all the, directors' positions end at the end of January. So we have to have elections. we just have a lot of things that are compressing the time that we might like to spend a little bit more time, that we would say, in the off season to talk about this. So, if in the unfortunate case that the loyal season ends earlier rather than later, we should be ready to go with our conversations. That's why we wanted to have that first survey done and in place. And even if we go longer and we wait till after that championship game, having that first survey done and being able to spend some time crafting a better second survey gives us now the opportunity to push the bulk of those conversations into the off season and not have to spend our precious last weeks here discussing these things and really devote them to the team. So this little conversation right there was more just an update that things are still moving and things are kind of happening in the background to get ready for that second survey. But that second survey, unless a hurdle comes up that's going to mess us up in the off season, that second survey shouldn't come out till the loyal are done. And then we can really spend time focusing on where we're going to go next. And we have a couple more surveys, and we need to have some conversations and spend some more time digging a little deeper about what is important to us as members of the locals before we're ready at all to decide down the road eventually where this group pivots. So that's kind of where we are. We're working on it right now. We're trying to push it to the background so we can entirely focus on the locals, but be ready as soon as we're done. It's a conversation we need to jump into. But these next, hopefully, I'll say 4 weeks, hopefully, it's all going to be loyal and locals all the time.
Yep, and hopefully that doesn't. Again, we're not talking about this again until November. But yeah, we got it. We're doing that. But for those, we all love this group. It's why we're still here. It's why we're still part of it. It's why we're still going. Obviously, we love the team as well. We love all of you. And Greg said thanks for carrying the load so we can be in the present. And not that don't want to say that we're martyrs, but it does feel good when you see 109 full.
Yes.
And people going crazy that you guys didn't give up. Not that we thought you would. No one thought that. But it's like it's a hell yeah. It's a fuck you to whoever needs to be told fuck you. It's and it's the you would say brotherhood, but I'll say siblinghood or whatever you want to say of everyone out there. So yeah, and I know, and I will say, because it's not Nick saying this, Nick deserves this. Nick deserves a full 109. That guy has given everything, every game, no matter how many people were there, no matter how many people were sitting, no matter how many people were not chanting, no matter how many people were disheartened, no matter how many anything, that guy's been screaming his head off. So
amen.
There are things more so than you owing it to any of us here on this pod necessarily. Not saying you owe anyone anything, but it makes me feel good to see 109 at its fullest and loudest, and that's really mostly why we do all this. So yeah, to see that and think of if we've got 1 or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 of these left, that hopefully we do everyone like last night, because I don't know if there's been a night since the March 7th game that was like last week, from what I saw. So different emotion, a lot of emotion, everybody bringing the emotion, but this is this is it. This is it. This is the time. And if you don't sit in 109, if it's not your thing, totally understand it. But we'd love to, have you there, if it's something you're willing to do, and obviously down on the field with us as locals, as supporters this week, because that's, I think, going to be special time, special moment. Hopefully everything's wrapped up in the first half and we don't have to. I'm sure we'll take care of Oakland early on and nothing bad will happen at all. Put us on a field for an Oakland game. How about that?
Yeah. Well, it always feels good when the section is pumping, but I want to use this to springboard back to our very first comment we had in chat. I'd like to circle back to, if anybody knows how to make this happen, get Jack Metcalf in 109 this weekend, feel free to reach out and see if we can make that become a reality in our last game. And I had heard rumors that Sal supposed to be out.
Sal talking. So it's not the time to have any shame, right? Tweet at them,
right?
Like what are they going to do? I mean, these are guys who've made it, and hey, if people were just saying things to be patronizing, then fine. But if they're real, if you want to talk the talk, and now it's been 4 years and you haven't been in 109 yet, like, let's go. And I'd love to see everybody out there. And I'd love to see, the people who, again, the locals who aren't in 109. I'd love to see you come through. And everyone will have different opinions about things, but I would love to have people who've been part of our journey and maybe have now moved on to another future endeavor. Like, they're still family. And I want to say congratulations. I don't know if this is the place to do it, but to DK on being hired as part of that MLS team. Congratulations, man. I'm so happy for you. Like I said, I don't think if you can think of soccer community impact San Diego, there should be one face that comes to your mind, and he just got hired to do all of that. So, hopefully I see DK out there on Saturday, and hopefully there's not awkwardness of what the future might be or what people, whatever. The people who haven't been around. I know we lost some people, and I know they might not hear this, but maybe you have their phone number. Maybe you know who they are still. I say, man, like, it's all love this weekend, and maybe that'll be hard for them to hear. Maybe they don't want to hear it. Maybe that guy in that situation really completely ruined it for them. But man, this is the last time, or maybe the last time. Like, I hope we see those people who've maybe fallen away or feel they've been turned away. It would mean a lot to me if I saw those people. So if that rings a bell, someone comes to mind when you hear that, reach out to them and be like, man, girl, it would mean a lot to me to see you back out there with us.
And I'd like to comment on Jeff's comment that he put out here, that he may slide over into 109 for a little bit. Everybody and anybody is welcome at any time. So please, if anybody feels like Jeff, feel free to slide over. However, for me, what I would rather see, if at all possible, is the energy of 109 spills over into 108 and 110, and we make an even larger section, and it's not confined by those stairways on either side of 109, that we start bleeding out into the other sections for this last match. So one, you're welcome to come into 109, please do. But also, if we can, bring that energy this last match and have it spill over the stairways a little bit and get some people standing up and cheering in those sections and expand out that energy, that would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to see that for this last match.
Uh-huh. And a little tangentially, it will be a sellout, so make sure you're getting your tickets. If you need any extras, don't wait. Just go get them, because it will be sold out. So everybody's coming back. This might be it.
And me, I might actually make it out.
John's gonna try it. So if
I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to make it happen.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, and that'll be. I hope that happens for me, and for you, and for just personally, it'll mean a lot to see you again and to see you there. There's certain things that for me, I just need to see there, right? Like walking through those gates, seeing the Black Lives Matter sign up on the scaffolding, seeing the Fiends jackets and seeing the drum line and seeing Ricardo where he always stands. And,
right.
There's certain things that I just need to see to feel like home. Seeing Belinda's there, though I don't think I ever ate there. I'm not I don't eat at the game a lot, but there's just certain things, smell that caramel corn, certain things that this is the last time ish.
Right.
Hopefully many more, but bring your cameras, I'm bringing my real camera again, because I need a little bit more than the iPhone. Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we're kind of getting to the end, so I'm going to give one last call for any comments to come through in the chat, and we'll give a 30 seconds or so to see if we get anything. If we do, we'll answer them, but otherwise we will do a quick reminder that watch party for tomorrow's match. So depending when you're listening to this, so Wednesday we have an away match against El Paso. Kickoff time for us is at 6:00. Watch parties will be at Fairplay and Northern Pine. So please, again, probably our last big watch party, because we don't know how the playoffs are going to shape out. So if you want to go, I know it's a weeknight, but if you can make it out to Fairplay or Northern Pine for this last big watch party, because so many people are going to be in Las Vegas for that last match. But hit up Fairplay or Northern Pine, and then our last home match at Grandma's house, at least that we know of, right? At our last barking lot that we know of. So if you can make the time, be there. Barking lot should open at 4, right, Jason?
Yep.
Okay, so 4:00, and do the march and everything else. We'll bring the noise, and then if you're in 109, we'll be down on the field. And for the second half, we'll do our Player of the Year award at the end of the match. We'll do the video, hopefully, if I can finish.
We will. I believe in you.
Right.
I believe in you, and I have the passwords.
Good. So
hopefully, I have the passwords, even if I need to step in. We'll get it. We'll get it done.
So we'll do that, and then very last thing, as a reminder, the thank you notes. If you can find the time to handwrite something, get a card, do as Jason said, go to CVS, do a photograph, print up a little card and have your kids sign it or something else. But we'd like to give some personalized thank yous, hand deliver them to the players, to the front office staff on the field after the match on Saturday. So those are the big pieces of news, and I'm not seeing any new questions come up in the chat. So, Jason,
we're good.
For being
we're
here.
closed
You have
out.
Any last comments before we go?
I don't. Hopefully, I'll see everybody at Fair Play, and then see you at Torero on 4:00 on Saturday.
Yep, and I will not be at the watch party, but I'm looking forward to seeing everybody once again on Saturday. So we will see you at Torero.
Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea, and the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange,